Fee Glover has come with me to my home city of Liverpool. Now, Fee, I like to put you in the southern softy pot, but actually the truth is, although you do belong in that pot, you have been to Liverpool before.
Yes, quite a few times.
Never mind, let's pretend you've never been to Liverpool in your life. And actually, I think you've only ever been here for sport, haven't you?
That is very true, for either the football or the gymnastics. Yeah.
Well, they're both sports.
Yes, well spotted. Yeah.
Whereas I have always associated Liverpool with culture, because I'm from the place.
Interesting.
And it has always been an absolute hotbed of theatre, of some very experimental stuff actually in theatre. I always remember I went to the second night of the Willie Russell musical Blood Brothers at the Playhouse. Used to go to the Everyman. You could go in, sit on the benches at the back of the Everyman for £1 when I was a girl. And we're at the Albert Dock.
Yes, it's a bit chilly. Can we go in?
It is a bit chilly, and I have to say the stiff breeze coming in off the Irish Sea does remind me of my hockey playing days.
OK, well, that's definitely something we'll be exploring later. But in the meantime...
Yeah, we're actually at the Tate, which is a formidable art gallery, of course, with a phenomenal reputation.
How often in your cultural travelling around your home city have you been to the Tate?
As we're being completely honest today, I've probably been 2 or 3 times in the past when my kids were small, and I'd bring them to Liverpool to see my mum and dad, who still live here, and we'd throw in a cultural visit.
Yeah.
Basically, we went to the CAF at the Tate, and also the loos were good.
Yeah.
And accessible.
That is exactly my experience of the Tates in London. They call to you because they've got very nice wide toilet facilities for buggy turning and stuff like that, as well as the wonderful art inside it. So we need to see the wonderful art inside it. And we've got revolving doors to get through. That's something that started to scare me the older I get.
Okay, well, let's see if we can negotiate those doors right now.
See you on the other side.
Journey with us as 2 middle-aged women go through a revolving door.
Okay, on your marks, get set, go.
Hi, I'm Jane Garvey.
And I'm Fee Glover.
And
this is...
Meet me at the museum.
It's
We're
never
going to work. Hi, hello, I'm Jane. This is Fee. Now, we've both got art passes.
Okay.
But do we get in for free here? Is that...
Everything's actually free today.
Right.
Our special exhibitions are £12.50 full price, but with your art pass it'd be £6.25.
Okay, and obviously also the art pass just makes our wallets look much more impressive when they flap open.
I think people would be impressed if they saw that. Marks you out as somebody a little bit cultural. This is somebody with a bit of a hinterland.
Yep.
I think the first museum I ever went to was the one that used to be in the very centre of Liverpool, quite near Lime Street Station. They had Egyptian mummies, and they used to have
things.
Yeah, they were. I think they are genuinely frightening, and there are loads of them in the British Museum in London, aren't there? Which are spooky. Anyway, there used to be a big poster on the side of the big red bus: "Bring your mummy to meet ours."
Oh, that's good.
Get it?
It's a very good strapline.
And that was enough to hook me in. In fact, ironically, it was my dad who took me to see the mummies.
So, what about a strapline for today? Bring your mate to the Tate. Come on, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, and never mind a boon to broadcasting. You're a loss to advertising.
Thank you. So it's lovely to come up to Liverpool, and I know that you and I do have a shared interest in museums, which was created in the early years of our kids' childhood. So as mums, we've both had that experience of the wet Wednesday. You've been up since 5.
Yeah.
You need to get out of the house.
Anywhere will do.
Well, but also with the best will in the world, you don't want to go to soft play or, municipal facility just for your children. You want to go somewhere that there's something in it for you, and we're allowed as parents to say that. And certainly the 2 Tates in London, Tate Modern and Tate Britain, I visited more regularly when my kids were in buggies than I have done any other time, because they're great spaces and they ticked a lot of boxes.
I remember accompanying my kids at their primary school on so many trips to the National Gallery.
Good on you.
But you must have been the mum on the school trip.
Never.
Not?
No.
Ever?
No.
Too busy? Too
No.
important?
So, no. So, when you decide the things that you can do and the things that you can't do.
Was that on your not doing it in a month of Sundays list?
So, I'm really happy to do the PTA around that for a year.
Oh, I never did that. Okay, fair dues.
Aged me, but I couldn't do the school trip because I'm just not terribly good with 35, 7-year-olds who are as tall as me.
Yeah, I can see from that point of view. You've got.
I'm in a high vis. The teacher thinks I'm a badly behaved kid.
He's trying to get you to fill in your questionnaire.
Who's that last one? You're not holding hands.
46, miss.
I'm grown up.
Leave me alone. What I noticed as soon as you come in is the fact that you were talking about kids and how useful museums are, and I do mean useful when you've got small kids. They're made very welcome at this Tate in Liverpool. These rocket packs, which you can just pick up in reception.
So they're, just in case people need an explanation of rocket pack,
Yeah, and they
it's
might.
a backpack made to look like a rocket that you're allowed to pick up and put on your child to go around the museum. Borrow a rocket pack to journey around the gallery and have fun exploring the artworks on display. Yeah. Do you think we'd be allowed to wear them just because we're short?
No, I don't think we would, and I'd be a bit embarrassed. So
That's a shame. What type of art do you like?
Oh, I have some pictures up at home, but I have no idea, genuinely, whether I've got no taste, any taste, ill-educated taste, or I just know I've got a big a print of a woman talking to another woman in what I think is a Chinese restaurant in a hopper painting.
Okay,
yeah.
But do you like...
It's not an original, as I've made clear. Please don't rob my house. It's worth £50, including the frame.
What are you drawn to? Because I don't really know the answer to that question myself. I've got no enormous back catalogue of art knowledge, but I know when I'm happiest in front of really big, bold, modern art.
Big, bold stuff.
Yeah.
You, in that case, you're the right person in the right place, because we're going to see today something called Op Art in Focus, which features, amongst other artists, Bridget Riley.
Whose stuff I love. So I can stand in front of a Bridget Riley or be in the same room as a Bridget Riley.
And appreciate it.
Yes, and just feel that sense of I like what I'm seeing. And sometimes, if I'm honest, I think, because, I mean, you're an audio person too. You know, we've chosen to come at the world through a completely different medium. So sometimes when people start talking about art, I'm lost after the second sentence. You know, I genuinely don't understand, you know, the kind of endless power and intricacy that they're talking about. But I love a Bridget Riley, and I love a David Hockney, and I love the big colours, big, bold, that suits me. So I'm excited to see Op. What's Op short for? They've just taken the P off. Optical, okay. So even though we're not dyed-in-the-wool art lovers, you and me, we have an appreciation of it. And also, it's that thing, isn't it, where you flip the coin over and you think, would I ever want to live in a world without art? How appalling.
Wouldn't that be terrible?
Wouldn't that be terrible?
Hi, my name is Darren P, and I'm Exhibitions and Displays Curator at Tate Liverpool.
So where are we at the moment, Darren?
We're on the second floor. We're here at a display of works from the collection. It's called Op Art in Focus. So it's works that were made between 1960 until now. Optically exciting works by Bridget Riley and Victor Vazirelli, by Frank Stella. And what you can see is a very sort of colourful display of sculpture and painting and installation art. It's free of charge. So really it's highlight works from the National Collection owned by the Tate here in the north. So Tate is the national collection of modern and contemporary art for the United Kingdom. So it's around 70,000 works.
70,000?
70,000 works from 1500 until now, which is the British collection, and then from 1900 until the present day it's international. So it's one organiser, you know, it's one Tate. The same collection you see at Tate Modern or Tate Britain or Tennessee Ives are the same works that you see here in Liverpool.
My eye is immediately drawn to the Bridget Riley when you walk in, which is a strobing, massive piece.
It's a beautiful painting.
Yes, she said strobing and massive. You said beautiful.
Well, it's difficult.
I can't look at it for very long. It's incredibly striking because it's vertical stripes,
Precisely.
but it is quite disorientating, isn't it?
I think that was the intention. I think there's a time, I mean, she was, Bridget Riley, she was a British op artist who emerged in the 1960s. And I think she was very interested in playing with perception and geometry, you know, sort of hard contrasting colours between black and white to create a sense of instability in which the surface of the print or the painting seems to move or shake. You can see it, you know, it's it's ostensibly a painting of stripes, but actually it's green and red and white. But actually, once you look at it, it seems to vibrate and shake. Yeah. And if you try to turn your head left and right, it seems to somehow strobe somehow.
Lingers.
And then different colours emerge.
When kids see this, what do they say?
They get excited. I mean, I think you can see there've been some young people here today. I mean, I think this is a display which has been really popular with school groups. I love coming into this space and then seeing, very young children shrieking, in the sense that this work is moving, and there's something like the energy of the work, the surface being unstable, is exciting, I think, to a young person's eyes.
Talk me through your flooring, please.
Well, this is a work by Jim Lambie. It's called Zobop. And
he's relatively young, because he's about my age.
He's a living contemporary artist from Glasgow. What you can see are these concentric bands of vinyl tape. So every time you install it, you create its form follows the contours of the space in which the work is being installed. So you begin at the outside, and then you just create these tape strips. And what you can see here is that when it hits the columns, it creates these turbulences on the floor. And children really love this work.
And do you have a favourite piece?
Yeah, it's a painting by Josef Albers. It's a painting on wooden panel. It's around 50 centimetres square. And essentially, it's a painting of concentric squares, a purple square inside a sort of a brown square, inside a rustic, like orange square. He made hundreds of these works after 1950, hundreds of exactly the same composition with different slight variations in colour. But if you hang all the works in the same space, they would all be doing the same thing and somehow speaking to each other. I think that sort of transcends its own making somehow. I think that's why I quite like it.
I see. Somebody has just released the velvet rope for us, effectively, haven't they? We've been allowed behind one of those black swisher lines that usually
inner sanctum.
Keep people out. But now
We're in. We've crossed the Rubicon.
Okay. Oh, we've walked straight into some naked women. It's a Matisse, the draped nude.
This is one of a series of 4 pictures, all the same size, painted in the spring of 1936.
So it's a woman reclining on a chair, only wearing a rather open kimono. Is that a look that you ever affected?
Well, it's a look I'd very much like to affect. I think the cat would be terrified, to be honest, if she saw that.
I think Mittens would have kittens. Jane's cat's called Mittens, by the way.
Features regularly. What's this part of the museum called?
So this particular gallery is called Constellations. So you put one big artwork in the middle and then all of the other pieces slightly play off it. That's very clever, isn't it? So the star of the show is Max Ernst's Men Shall Know Nothing of This, which is painted in 1923.
Interested in the alternative realities experienced by the insane.
So it's almost half a body suspended
I was
above
hoping you'd explain,
obelisk with some symmetrical lines connecting all of the different parts. And
Mary
it's
and
strange.
Joseph.
Yes, and it's like a mini explosion of images in your brain, isn't it? It is quite unsettling.
I wouldn't want that over the mantel, I've got to be honest.
I don't think so.
No.
But it's a talking point, Jane.
It certainly is.
Yeah, and then all of the other paintings or installations or pieces of art kind of bounce off that as a theme. Clever, very clever.
Hang on, my attention is drawn to a big pile of clothes over there in the corner. Let's go and have a look at that. So we were talking earlier about what kind of art you like. Yeah. And I'm not sure whether I like this, but I want to know what it's supposed to be. So I'm going to do my level best to describe it. We have got a marble figure. It's a gorgeous female naked body with her buttocks facing us and her face embedded in a mound of used clothes or a pile of rags. So the rags are real. The marble is possibly not real marble, I don't know, but it is a marble in the classic
so
Greek
it's
style.
Absolutely that kind of
Yes.
classical pose as well, where women are always slightly leaning, aren't they, in the classical world of sculpture.
Yes, but she looks as though she's getting a whiff of dirty old clothes.
Yeah, but also it looks a little bit like a dump scene, doesn't it? Where you've got a whole pile of trash and someone's thrown something more valuable on top of it. So that is our explanation. Should we go and read the proper thing?
Yeah, let's go
read the
see.
proper thing. Oh, Venus of the Rags. Well, we went far
Well
off.
done.
Well done.
And this, what's the name of the artist?
Michelangelo Pistoletto. Venus of the Rags appears to bring together an iconic figure of classical culture with the detritus of modern contemporary society.
There we are, you see, we were right,
Yes.
pretty much.
As the solid Roman goddess props up a randomly formed pile of gaudily coloured second-hand clothes. In fact, this figure is based on a kitsch statue found in a garden centre rather than a genuine antiquity. That's great.
Doesn't matter who you are, genuine antiquity or whatever, I still want to go over and touch those buttocks.
I want to fold the clothes.
Oh, do
That's
you?
the difference between
That
us.
really is.
It really is, isn't it?
I'm the interesting one, basically.
Yes, I'm just the domestic humdrum assistant. I could tidy that up for you, love.
Modern art, there's some things I really admire, and I think there's a lot to admire, but do I love it? Bridget Riley is incredibly impressive, bounces out at you, but do I think I'd like to live with that? Maybe
But
in
isn't
my
that
case the answer's no.
Yeah,
but
isn't the point that you can come to a place like this for a couple of hours out of your otherwise extremely busy and sensory overloaded life,
yeah.
and you can stand in front of something and think whatever that particular piece of art makes you think at that given time. So that's the thing that I like about modern art, is that you don't, for me anyway, I don't have to know any of the background to it and what it's meant to signify and what school it was part of and the time of which it was made and the influence that it then has. That's not why I would want to go and look at art. That's just me. But I like that sensation that when I'm standing in front of it, it might just make me think something. It's just a little moment where you go, okay, good point.
Yes, but I just don't see how you can compare that to a wonderful portrait of somebody.
But I suppose you
Of
don't...
course you can't, can you?
Yeah,
And
you don't have to.
No.
It's not asking the same things of you. Oh, yes, come on, Garv. So we've come downstairs to the family room. It is way more than I expected.
There's a lot
I was
going
thinking really just a room where, where you could indulge in some silence and it didn't matter, if somebody had an accident on the floor, but there's a lot more to it,
Do
isn't there?
keep your expectations low, don't you? It's like soft play with A-levels.
It
this
is,
place.
isn't it?
Yeah,
What a
it's
good
great.
way of putting it. Yeah. So you've got lots of different pieces of art on the walls and kind of displayed on cage-like structures, and the kids next door, primary school group of kids, doing something.
Well,
they're
they're really
answering
sweet.
questions or copying or
Yeah.
something, aren't they? But also they look really happy.
And they're engaged completely. They
Yeah.
were lying on their tummies, writing things down and looking enthralled. We've just walked into another room, which contains teenagers.
Who were looking less engaged.
They were looking at their phones. Yeah. God love them.
But
anyway.
they've got, they have 5 years, don't they, of not being engaged. Even if secretly they are, their faces aren't showing it.
No.
Yeah. But this has got a green screen, a dream green screen area where you can put props on and do a bit of a dance around. I think we should. Shall we?
Well,
Shall we
okay,
do it?
let's
Shall we
do
do
it.
it? Let's
Yeah,
do it.
let's
Let's
do
do it. So Jane's immediately gone for the
good,
neon pink,
Neon pink
kind of
trilby?
trilby going on. I don't really want to put that purple wig on.
No, but
not
do.
because sometimes I worry I've still got nits, so I won't be doing that. Put the shower cap on instead.
Yeah, put a shower cap
Put
on.
a shower cap on, because nothing says dignity like a woman in a shower cap.
Wear a shower cap.
So this is also the first time that you and I have ever been round a gallery or kind of spent a non-work day together, because we've been colleagues for a very long time.
Colleagues.
Rivals. I have. So it will be nice to hang out, because we live in completely different parts of town,
And we want to keep it that way. No, we don't keep. No, our friends don't know all, and if they did know each other, wouldn't like each other. So I think we're both very happy with the status quo there.
Yeah.
However,
This is nice, Jane.
this is nice, and for
Yes.
reasons neither of us can fully put our finger on, this sort of thing works quite well.
Yes. Yeah, and also have a third point of the triangle, Jane. It's what I often say to the children, if there's any bickering involved.
Go on.
Put a third point of the triangle in front of you, and then you'll both have something to concentrate on instead of each other.
And that is why Fee has come very close to winning Celebrity Mum of the Year now on a number of occasions.
My name is Jemima Pine and I'm Head of Audiences here at Tate Liverpool.
When I was young, I never associated museums with audiences. So that job title it's very 21st century, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Am I a client?
No, you're a visitor.
I'm not a stakeholder, am I?
No, you're
No,
definitely
okay.
a visitor. What my job actually means, audiences, I actually, the staff that I work with are the marketing team and the comms team. So people, if you see things about the gallery outside, they're probably the team I'm working with, but also the people who welcome you into the building. So I think the idea is that you're kind of, what you hear about us and what you experience is kind of joined up, rather than we go out and tell you all these marvellous things about how we're family friendly, and then when you turn up, perhaps we're not.
Yeah, so your family room really fulfills expectations. So in our day, a family room probably was somewhere where you went when your child had had an absolute screaming hissy fit and needed to be held away from
Yes.
other paying
A sort of a
visitors.
sin bin. Yes.
What can you do if you did pitch up here with kids in tow?
This room we're in now, the family room, you can use the activities in here as you feel fit. You can sit and read a book. You can take it as a quiet time, or you can be a little bit more noisy if you want to in here.
And you've got a school trip in
Yes,
today.
yes.
But is that an everyday thing?
During school term time, yes, we have lots of schools in, from primary schools, nursery schools, as we've got in today, right the way up to university of the third age. We have a lot of people who come here to learn, find out more, understand more.
Are people still a bit afraid of museums? Because the Tate, you might have the impression of that it isn't necessarily for you. How do you make it a place anyone would feel happy visiting?
Well, you're absolutely right that lots of people think it's not for them, or they think that you have to have some particular way of being or speaking, or, it's all those jokes about modern art that you see, oh, am I looking at the fire extinguisher or is it an artwork? And
You can't blame people, can you?
You can't.
Really?
And I guess for our job is to make it seem as obvious as possible that it is for you in many, many ways, from the way that you feel about us when you're outside the building, the way we talk about ourselves, and when you come in, the experience you have. We have such a huge array of stuff on show here, stuff that's bonkers and you don't quite know what it is, and is it art and is it not art, and then other things that are, the things that you more traditionally might think of art, skillful, beautiful paintings. So come and see what you think and what you enjoy. A trip here is not just about coming and looking at the art. It is about coming into a different kind of public space and feeling differently about space. And, the benefits are not just standing in front of a painting and looking at a painting.
Yeah. And this is what we've already got so far. So Jane and I were saying that we've come to particularly Tates around the country when our kids were tiny, because there is something about being in an adult space that your children are entitled to be into, which is still quite rare.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
And it ticks both those boxes, doesn't it? So it's okay to go away from the day, not really remembering a specific thing that you've seen, but just having a feeling.
Yeah, and I guess we are about being a space that's intergenerational, into whatever, that diversity is through the fact that this is for everyone, and you can come and look at things alongside other people. We're a public space. It's quite important.
And I know that Scousers are allowed to be sentimental about Liverpool, particularly when, of course, they don't live in Liverpool, which you do get quite a lot of from exiled Scousers. Don't start.
Where do you live now? Just because people won't automatically know.
West London.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm not the only Scouser in West London, let me tell you. But Liverpudlians are good at telling you what they think.
Yes.
And you're not from Liverpool,
No.
are you? No. So isn't this it is a unique place, actually, isn't it?
Liverpool?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's
Just say yes, Jemima.
Yes, it is. No, it is, but it's unique. There's something about that thing is that if you're a tourist, come to Liverpool, don't get a map out, because the whole street will come over and start helping you. And people want to come and talk about things and let our staff know what they think of it. We know.
Yeah, good. But is it okay to actually... Because there are some things, I'll be honest with you, I've just seen some... I just think they are. It really is that terrible cliche, modern art can be rubbish.
It
Not
can be
always.
made of rubbish, yes.
It can be made of
yes.
rubbish, or it can just be nonsense.
Yeah.
You've got somebody has just put what looks like a load of grey slop in the corner.
Yes, that's lead. That's that is incredibly heavy. That is the heaviest
I
thing
don't
in
doubt
this
it,
building.
Jemima, but it's not. It's not very nice.
No. Well, art does art need to be nice? I mean, we're showing here modern and contemporary art, so a lot of the work is made by people still living now, living in the world we live in. And as we know, the world is not nice or beautiful, and artists are living in the context that we're living now. So,
But it's fun, isn't it? Because I really like the shape of the lead sludge.
Do you?
I like the look of it. I want to go and touch it. That's amazing. It's lead. Jeez.
yes.
Yeah, that's worth a pretty penny as well, isn't it?
Well, regardless of the value, we had to think quite a lot about whether the floors would
Yes,
hold it. I mean,
yeah,
a
for
work like
sure.
that is as much about taxing us and thinking about how we can show it.
So if I only had 5 minutes and I came rushing up to you and I said, what should I go and see? I've got a train to catch. Tell me just one thing. What would it be?
Well, the amazing thing about this building is some of the views from the windows, because we've got views over the Mersey, down to the pier head and across into town. So I'd probably take you to look out of one of our windows and look down on the Ugo Rondinone, Liverpool Mountain, which is outside.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Can we do it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's go.
Is he from Liverpool, Ugo?
Swiss. So we have the windows on all floors. This is the first floor window, so it's the lowest. And we can, if you look out, you'd be able to see Ugo through the window.
Okay, so talk us through Ugo and what it is.
So, Ugo Rondinone is a sculpture that was installed outside our building in October of last year, and it's a commission to celebrate 30 years of Tate, 20 years of the Biennial, and 10 years since Capital of Culture. And it is a pile of neon granite rocks.
Talk us through the colours, Jane, from top to bottom.
Okay. Neon. We got at the very bottom a boulder in pink, then a bold orange, then a lighter orange, then lime, then blue. Well, I have to say, it somewhat challenges me, Jemima. What was it called again?
It's called Liverpool Mountain.
Is there a thing that the artist hopes you think when you see it?
The artist is
know what I'm
absolutely
thinking.
delightful, and he says it is what it is. It's just fun. Since it's been there, and my offices look over this side, you see people out there every day wanting to touch it, hug it, be photographed in front of it, be with it. Kids love it, but they're also slightly scared of it because it's so big.
It's like a packet of highlighter pens.
Yes,
in boulder form.
But it's rather
Yeah.
wonderful against the background of all of the buildings, because actually the view from this little window seat is extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah,
You've got the Museum of Liverpool, which is quite modern in its design, but then behind you've got all the civic buildings, and you'd know the
Library
clock tower,
building.
yeah.
Yeah. That used to be the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board
Yes.
office. Yeah, that's my dad used to. I used to go and visit him at work, and that incredible dome has got. It's quite an
the
exciting
blue,
place
yeah.
to be. It's a proper old school.
Yes.
Is it Victorian, Edwardian?
Yes,
What
Victorian, I guess,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But you've got that neoclassical architecture, and then you've got all the industrial brickwork, and then suddenly against that, you've got this neon spectacle. That's
Okay,
quite something.
I'm
isn't it?
almost converted.
And this was a point. You know, the Mersey was a point of obviously departure and ingress to Liverpool. So goods were coming in and out, and all sorts of incongruous things would have been coming through these places. So I like the fact that it's there, and it is what it is. You know, just enjoy it. Just look at it, and
If my great great grandma had arrived from Ireland and seen that, she'd have gone straight back.
Oh, really?
Well, maybe not.
Oh, really?
Okay, Jemima, you know, in spite of all my reservations, I'm still looking at the Liverpool Mountain. Maybe
And
I
it will stay with you, I
I'm
think,
afraid
after
it's-
we've left, won't
yeah,
it?
yeah. Oh, maybe it's.
So what should we go and look at
getting to me.
next, Jemima? Point us in a
I
direction.
suggest you go up to the second floor and have a look in one of our video rooms. There's quite an interesting work up there. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, let's do it. We're about to walk into a very dark room, and we can hear some kind of audio coming out of
And
it.
Hito's video is called "How Not to Be Seen a Fucking Didactic Educational."
Oh, okay, prepare yourself, Jane. Prepare yourself.
It makes reference to Monty Python's Flying Circus. That won't help me. I never found them funny.
Oh dear. Well, I tell you what, Hito, You got a challenge persuading the Garv that this is her kind of thing.
Got your work cut out. Let's go in.
Yep, let's do it. I always like the dark opportunity to sit down there in a gallery. Oh, so we walk through this corridor.
It's still dark.
There's a spotlight that we've just walked through as well. And here comes... Oh, so now there are benches. We can sit down. Let's sit down, Jane. I'm going to watch a little movie.
How not to be seen. A fucking didactic educational mod file. There are 4 ways to make something invisible for a camera. To hide.
Oh, Jane, I'm not sure. When I watch this, I have that terrible loop in my head where I think, what should I be thinking?
Resolution of the world as a picture.
Yes, I understand why you might be having those thoughts.
And then I think I'm too stupid to understand it, and everyone else in the room is understanding it. Are you?
There's only 2 of us in the room.
Yeah, but are you?
No.
No.
I feel very much like you do. But this is one of the good things about places like this. You don't have to like or understand everything.
Yeah, no, I get that. And there'll be something from it that sticks. It's about modern stuff, isn't it? It's about modern stuff. Come on, let's go. Let's have a cup of tea. It's about modern stuff.
Thank you, Professor. It's about modern stuff.
I very much enjoyed spending the afternoon in your company in the gallery.
You had to say that.
No,
Now you're enjoying
didn't.
a cup of tea as
I'm
well.
enjoying a very nice cup of tea.
Yeah.
The world always seems better. I've enjoyed the experience of being in art, because I don't often do it. Have you simply enjoyed the experience of being in a different kind of environment for a couple of hours?
I think that's the great thing about museums, is you are actually welcomed in, you are welcome, and you are free to wander. And it's quite literally free. And never underestimate the importance of
a freebie.
freebie
Of a free
with
warm
the
space.
prospect of a reasonably priced cuppa and possibly a slice of cake. No, you're
Yeah.
right. It's all about liberating yourself from the humdrum and doing something that is frankly challenging. And I do think it is interesting. You honestly don't have to like everything.
No,
Even if
it's not asking you to.
No, even
Most
if you
of
just
it's asking you not to.
not
actually,
to,
isn't it?
or to be
Yeah.
slightly disturbed, or just taken out of yourself a bit.
So the op art gallery I thought was fascinating, just for the impression that it left on me, which was
You're a bit
that
dizzy.
but that I'm not neat and tidy enough. That's about such precision, isn't it? And I don't live my life like that at all. You know, the house is messy. The kids are quite loud.
Yeah.
I'm not always very organised. It's so different from the way that I live my life or place my things or, you know, everything that I do. So I quite like just spending a bit of time in that, just to then leave and think that's a thing that makes me a bit uncomfortable. That's
Yeah.
okay for 20 minutes.
I don't suppose we're ever going to know how tidy Bridget Riley's house was.
I wouldn't imagine she's got an awful lot of chintz.
I'd be amazed if it was really messy. I suspect the woman has impeccable taste.
Thanks for listening to me, Fee Glover,
And me, Jane Garvey.
at Tate Liverpool. If you like this episode of the podcast, please rate, subscribe or tell a friend.
Don't forget, if you've got an art pass, you can get free entry or discounts on museums all over the country.